I've given up. You may remember my variable to pass-through review, where I spoke against battery modes for their size and the necessity to unscrew them every time you need to replace a battery. Joytech now has a mod with charging via USB, but it requires more than 1 amp of input, whilst you normally can't draw more than half of that from a standard PC USB port. So you have to bring a 1 amp wall charger with you, which makes everything pointless. You may just get a separate charger for the lithium batteries. So I bought the fucking largest mod with the biggest batteries, and now unscrew it all the time to replace batteries, which roll happily in my pocket. Can't say this doesn't drive me mad, but it seems there is no way out. I had to choose between ProVari version 2.5, Zmax and Vamo. I never really liked ProVari, and now it is just outdated expensive toy. Zmax is too fragile. It has failing connector problems, button issues. But Vamo V5 really made an impression. Good-looking stainless steel body, solid build, for an impressive price. So I got a Vamo V5. Let's start with cons. The first thing is of course the size. The mod is enormous and really heavy, and atomizer makes it even bigger. Normally you use one 18650 or two 18350 batteries, but if you remove the extra tube, you may just use one 18350 battery, which makes the mod somewhat smaller. On the other hand, since when having a long device became a problem? This can easily be converted to an advantage if you carry it inside your pants front pocket. Suddenly, girls become more friendly, and even boys have to take you seriously. And then you pull out this long, glossy stick, put your lips around it, and suck for hot, sticky, and smelly liquid. Well, I digress. Next con, the spring is not secured in the cap, so you may easily lose it. The hole in the cap is safety valve. In case the battery explodes inside, the pressure will go out of this hole instead of converting your device to a frag grenade. Another con is it doesn't show the battery level, only current battery voltage, which is not the same. And probably the last con is that it does not remember some of the settings after you place the battery. For instance, there is a setting to keep the screen off while vaping, which is on again after you replace the battery. Now a quick look on the device functionality. First, the connector. It is a standard 510 with additional outer ego threads covered by a cap. This ego screw came really handy, as my Genesis V5, which I also reviewed, leaves a tiny gap between the body and the atomizer. Genesis comes with an ego cone, so I screwed it on, and now the atom fits perfectly. If your atomizer doesn't cover the cone, get an airflow controller. It is cheap and provides the necessary additional support for heavy atomizers. Buttons. They are good, and there are 3 of them. This is very good, since you don't have to learn Morse code to change voltage and other settings. More buttons means easy control. Another visible pro is Oled Screen, meaning no backlight required. Holding the main button and inserting battery will show current firmware version on the screen. Pressing the buttons 5 times in quick succession turns the device on and off. Let's run through the controls. The right button increases voltage, the left decreases. Holding left button for 3 seconds shows the battery voltage. Holding right button for 3 seconds shows atomizer resistance. When the battery is dry, the display shows low V. Interesting enough, checking resistance at this point shows low V without one letter. Holding left button for 10 seconds will switch output pulse mode from RMS to mean. RMS is recommended. Press both buttons to access the menu. Left button goes around the menu, right button confirms selection and gets you back. First menu item is output mode. You can choose between varivolt, voltage, and variwatt, power. In varivolt mode, the voltage range changes from 3 to 6 with 0.1 increments. In variwatt mode, the output changes from 3 to 16 watt in half-watt steps. Next menu item selects what to display while you hold the main button. The options are battery voltage, volts or watts on the connector, or resistance of atomizer. The third item switches display on and off during vaping. Switch this option on if you don't want the display to light up every time you take a puff. This is the option that is switched to default on after you place the battery. If you press the button and the display shows 1.2 ohm or less, that means the coil is too short or it short circuits the atomizer body or the mesh. Low resistance activates protection and no output is produced. When the resistance is too low, like 1.1, which basically means short circuit, the device shows low load and there is no power output. 9.9 ohms means the resistance is too high or there is no contact. There is also no power output. The power is not allowed to the connector to protect the batteries from extreme operation conditions, which prolongs the battery's life and prevents battery explosions. Another interesting feature: holding the right button for over 10 seconds will display mobile out on and then show a battery filled according to current battery state. In this mode, the power goes to the connector constantly without the need to press the button. This is basically power bank mode. You can use your vaping device to charge your phone. To do that, you will need a 510 to USB female adapter. Press main button to exit this mode. The display shows mobile out off. And the last question, how does it vape? Well, see for yourself. Attached is a Genesis 2.1 ohm, even though the device shows 1.7 for some reason, filled with traditional liquid 55-35 to 10. Here is how it vapes at different voltages. In general, I am happy with the purchase.